Got the fucking IUD.
IUD.
You know those chicks fucking have a side when you're pregnant?
Welcome to episode 3.1.
I feel like I just had this conversation.
Oh, man.
God damn.
Sponsorship. Fucking wow. Energy if you guys want to fuck with us. Fucking Dom Julio.
Julio is July in Spanish, right? So we're just going to call that the July special.
Yeah, yes.
Are we really having this mixed 5-hour energy in
you know what's I've never actually even had 5-hour energy ever.
I
in
used
my
to
life.
have that back in the day. It's not bad. Dupre, you're serving it up right now.
Pass one down.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right. Let's toast. Start the show off. Keek, you got a Chris in the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Part.
Yeah, let's
3.1.
3.1.
Yep.
3.2.
Yep.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Bottoms up, gents. Tastes like fucking coffee medicine.
Oh, that's
It
really
does.
tasty.
Yeah? There you go. We just found a new concoction.
That shit ain't
Berry
bad.
flavored 5-hour energy and Don Julio.
I like that.
Wash it
All right,
down with
Eric,
this
you
little
wanna-
corn.
Well, welcome back to Off the Mark. I am Harris. That's Dupre. That's Kiko.
What up?
And we're
happening?
back on a Saturday for the 3.2 version of our last episode.
Take two.
Last
that's
episode
right.
was like not good. We decided to run it back because we feel like you guys deserve better than what we
can't
did.
have that.
So we were literally off the mark yesterday. So today we'll.
Do you want to explain why? Because I know we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, why were we off?
Just we tried too hard.
It was
Yeah.
too sterile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't really have the flavor. It didn't really have the essence. It seemed like we were actually like doing a job
Yep.
instead of coming in here and just riffing.
We weren't in the zone, man.
Nothing good ever happens when you try
Yeah,
too
I mean,
hard.
look, for that mere mortal, yesterday's episode would work for them.
Yeah.
But for us,
Nah.
ain't good enough.
Don't
It
worry.
ain't good enough. We had to run it back.
Yeah, can't do
so
that.
we running it back. So, anyways,
Happy Saturday.
what's up, man? What you got going on?
You know, I was just thinking,
What's
like,
that?
do you guys have any tattoos?
No, not
Nah,
one tattoo.
man.
Like, I don't even have tattoos either. I was wondering if that was a coincidence. Right?
Nah, man, you can't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari, man. You know what I mean?
Or a Bentley.
Yeah, you can't do it, man. And God bless the dead. Rest in peace to my grandmother. She would never allow that back in the day. She's like, "Did you
what it
read the
is?
book of Leviticus?"
Damn.
Yeah, she hit me with that.
She hit you with Leviticus. Shit. That's some serious stuff, man.
She put the fear of God in me.
Hey, man, we can just walk off on Leviticus, man.
I got no tattoos, man.
No, but the reason I say it is it's so common, right? It's almost uncommon if you don't have tattoos.
Right? You just, I mean, and you see it just on everyone, women,
Right.
dudes, kids. Just like now, it
You
used to be like
you
it used
never
to be a
thought of
statement.
wanting one? I figured like you'd have like some scripture on you or something like that.
You know what? There was 3 times that I went to get a tattoo, and 3 different times there was like an act of God episode that made it not possible for me to get it. And the last time,
Leviticus.
and the last time I actually left the deposit with the guy. I was ready to get it and ready to commit, and he got arrested that weekend. So,
Oh, shit.
yeah, I was like, that's
Not
the
meant to
universal
be.
sign that's saying it's not for me. But I know a lot of people within our demographic who are beginning to like get sleeves and their whole body covered, and
Why do
so
you think that is, though, man?
is it like an existential thing where you reached like this middle part of your life and you start to say, I need to do something to kind of shake up. I don't know.
You know what I think, man? I think part of it is like I think people get it because, you know, it's almost like they got that tough guy syndrome. There's a lot of dudes that have tats that kind of take on this persona, right? It's the old philosopher king deal where it's like, you know, if you want to be a philosopher king, be a king first. If you want to be a tough guy with tattoos, be a tough guy first. Like, don't get the tats and then act tough. I see a lot of that where I see a lot of dudes running around with tats on their faces, on their necks, and their arm sleeves. And they're walking around like a rooster, man, that just came out of the hen house, right? Chest out. And I'm like, bro, you're in Summerlin. You're driving a fucking Mercedes. You're working out at Lifetime. Like something don't jive, right?
Right.
So to me, it's like the messaging is off. It's like a banker who wears a suit, right? He's just deceiving you into thinking that he's really important and he's about your money and he knows what he's doing. When in the meantime, he's like, he's shaking you with one hand and then he's got the knife and the velvet glove in the other hand, right? That's what bankers do.
You pray
right?
with the velvet suit.
Right? I mean, yes.
Bro, I just feel like I want to pet you right now.
Yeah, well, calm that shit.
What is that, velvet?
Yeah, man, crushed velvet, brother.
I love that.
You know what I mean? We got to keep it rolling. Shout out to Milton Exclusive Tailoring. He takes care of all my suits for me. So
Keeps you fresh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And who was your guy you went to that one time?
Well, I don't go to him anymore. I'm like strictly
because
at
of Leviticus.
Yeah, I'm strictly at with Joel at Suit Supply over at the Venetian. They take care of me.
I think that was the dude,
I wanted
right?
to check that out.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the stuff online. They had a couple suits I like. So
Yeah, they take
they're
care
at
of
the
me.
Venetian.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make the soft introduction
Let's do
for
that,
you.
man.
Yeah.
I need to go check him out.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
always
my
looking
guy.
for new threads, man. So especially like, my guy, I like what he does. I'm going to keep his business going. But at the same time, he has some supply constraints.
Okay.
So I don't really get the suits sometimes in the time frame in which I want.
Yeah.
And I'm a hyper consumer when it comes to suits. I'm the type of motherfucker I want when I want, especially when I get that bug inside my head. I'm ready to roll.
Talk that talk.
Hey, I ain't making money now not to get what I want.
Talk that
I'm
talk.
highbrow now. I'm stank.
Talk that talk.
My daughter was like, Dad, because she's managing over at Buckle up in DTS, and she was like, Dad, I think they got some jeans over there you like. I was like, Taylor, your dad don't roll like that.
Nah,
I was like, your dad is
more.
very, very highbrow when it comes to clothes.
Yeah.
I appreciate you looking out for me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you won't catch your dad buying jeans and Buckle.
Came a long way from North.
Man, like I
Vegas.
paid my dues, man. Miller's Outpost back in the day.
Yep.
I
501.
love that you said that. Miller's Outpost. Oh my
Used
goodness.
to work there until I got
Hey,
caught stealing.
do you remember those Anchor Blues that used to be there?
What about them Jenkos,
Dude, they used to
bro?
sell Jordans. They used to sell Jordans in Miller's Outpost back in the day, like late
I used to
80s.
love that place, man.
Yeah, man, that was my jam.
I forgot all about that.
That's
Was
like
it
one of my
Jordans
first
or
jobs.
Jordache?
No, they actually sold Jordans. not the shoes, but they sold like the apparel. Like that's back when like Mars Blackman and all them was going on. When he had
That's insane.
Yep.
I think I got my first pair of Dockers from that place.
Yeah, man.
Maybe as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the 80s babies out there. You
Miller's
know.
Outpost. What's
80s.
up?
Yeah, good times, man. What else is going on? F1's in town.
Got off to a rocky start, right?
It did.
Well, what happened?
Trial runs. They had plate coverings where they shouldn't have had plate coverings, and there's a class action
Rookie city.
lawsuit going
Rookie
on
ass
right
city.
now.
Dang, Vegas, come on.
And there's Demopoulos, that guy. He's representing 50,000 Las Vegans or so, who didn't get the chance to be a part of the qualifier.
Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to jump on that.
Yeah.
I just knew it was gonna happen.
I thought maybe you would do it, just running that motherfucker. You guys don't know Harris, man. He be just like the Black Forest Gump and shit.
I just
He
felt
was like late today because he was running like 26 miles to get over here. He just came
damn.
over here like in his Hoka
Head
hands.
bucking too.
What's those shoes you wear? Are they Hokas? What are they?
no. You know what? I'm on the Ultra Escalante right now. I'm getting back to like
Shout out to Ultra Escalante.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a fucking Cadillac back in the day?
yeah. I'm getting back
Cadillac
to
Elante.
No, it's
Barefoot.
Escalade, bro.
No. They had You ever watch like?
yeah. It was like the truck. It was the
Yeah,
pickup truck / SUV.
It was on an episode of Married with Children.
No, it's true.
And what's her face? Christina Applegate was doing like a commercial for it. So it was like the new Elante.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
So my bad. Anyways.
No.
So you got Elantes. We're trying to get sponsorship with Elantes because Harris be putting in work on the road.
Yes. It's mandatory. I think that everybody should have a movement practice or mindfulness movement practice.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
If it's your yoga, if it's your walking, if it's your trail,
What about sex?
that could be movement. I was just having a conversation last night with two women about that. They had some enlightening things to share.
About sex?
Yeah.
Do tell. Or a gentleman
Yeah,
doesn't
tell us.
You gonna
know,
tell us the
gotta
dirty
tell us now.
secrets,
Hey,
man?
If you're
Come
gonna
on,
bring
man.
it up, you got.
They're not my dirty.
You gonna tease us,
I mean, they're
Come
not
on.
my
Hey.
dirty secrets to
You
tell.
gonna dangle some TNA in front of us
we're
and
not
expect
gonna
us
say
not to
no
start
names.
salivating,
We're not
man.
saying no names, but we need.
Yeah,
to
we're
know.
not blowing anybody up, but I need some TNA.
Yeah,
I
we
just
need to
think it's
know.
amazing that when you're a man, a young boy, you harbor all of these crazy thoughts. Well, you think that they're crazy, until you actually share them with your counterpart, your female counterpart, and you realize
what's crazy. Talking about licking the taint. I mean, what are we talking about?
That's like child's play at this point.
Yeah.
You guys, I didn't know.
That is
backdoor plugs, all that. That's child's play, bro.
Dude,
Come on, vibration.
That's child's play,
Bro,
man. That is
on
child's
now.
play.
Man, this is EP2, fucking X-rated version.
We might have to do that.
Hey, we're in it. We're talking about it.
We might have to. We might have to have that episode, man.
Okay, we'll do that for the ladies only. Valentine's Day special. Since you guys are talking about coming in here,
like
with
ladies, educate us. Tell us what y'all want.
We're gonna have to do this at Pepper. It's an adult store over at the Resorts World. They got like a little private speakeasy. Pepper. Yep. They got a speakeasy that kind of overlooks the strip. It's really sexy and casual, and they got sales workers with PhDs in there that could give you some good game.
Damn, I'm ready. Let's roll all this shit up in there.
So for Valentine's Day, we'll have to do that.
Look out for
Shirts
Valentine's
off.
Day special. Shirts off.
We're working on that.
I'll tell you what. I'll compromise. I'll meet you guys in the middle. I'll wear a suit, but with no dress shirt underneath. Just a suit.
That's some Dwayne Wade shit right there.
Yeah,
I like that.
Dwayne Wade. I'll do that. There you go.
That's a really good look.
Yeah.
And a chain.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the chain on. Yeah. You guys are gonna come in just with a fucking thong, banana hammock.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But
it'll be funny.
I mean, my shorts be short enough.
That is true. You guys do be nut cuttering up in the gym.
Just a little bit. You know what I mean? I got these puppies, man. I gotta let them out. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny how that's become just part and parcel of like
the John Stockton look.
Yeah. But there were a few of us that coined that. That's just how it went, right?
Yeah.
They're shorts. They got to be shorts. You know what I mean? They can't be long pants. Motherfucker told me I couldn't come in a restaurant with long pants on. I said, I ain't got no pants on. I got some shorts on.
If we're going to be technical about it. That's funny.
Boy was making fun of me because of them short shorts.
Yeah. Short pants. You can't come in here with short pants. You need long pants. Oh,
What's
man.
that, short pants. What's that one Jimmy Fallon skit where he does the tight pants? You ever seen the tight pants skit?
No, I haven't
You
seen
guys
that.
do like short pants. You never see that?
Is that
it does it like with Will Ferrell. It's pretty funny. Like they're trying to out tight pant each other.
Oh.
You got to cue that up.
Yeah. So you have to see that, man. It's pretty funny shit. So you're in real estate, right?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about that lawsuit that just passed, where basically they said like real estate associations kept the rates artificially high, charging people too much money, and now they're going to cut back on the commission structure, which is basically going to change like the front end side of it, where the buyer's agent now seems like they're going to suffer from either not as much commissions, or they're just going to have to change their game, or just get out of the game altogether.
Yeah, man, RESPA is a real thing. That Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act is a real thing. I would say in response to that, if you're doing what you should be doing, minding your P's and Q's and checking all your boxes, you're not going to run into those issues.
So what does that mean, like for people that aren't doing that or are doing that? Spell that out.
So if I'm representing a buyer in a transaction, I'm going to have them sign a buyer brokerage agreement, and I'm going to explain it all and what it details and what fees are associated to what and how I get paid, so that they understand. I think that what's happening right now is a clear case of miscommunication and not overly communicating. Right? I do my best to over communicate and simplify everything. I take clients face to face. We go through all of what they're signing so that they understand that, because in this day and age with DocuSign and people being as busy as they are, folks just want to go ahead and just sign. Time is money. And more often than not, you'll find that people aren't really reading what they're signing, which is unfortunate.
Right.
So for me...
But if they didn't sign, though, would they be able to get the house anyways? I mean, it's almost like you're forced to sign. Like, you don't have an option, man.
Yeah, you got to...
It's like signing loan covenants, man. I go to the bank and get a business loan, and they're like, you got to sign this stuff. If I don't sign, I ain't getting the loan. So it's like, even if I signed it, even if I read it and like, you know what, man, I protest this stuff. Yeah. I ain't getting the Skrilla.
Yeah. You got to sign it.
You got to sign it. We don't have a choice.
You got to sign it.
So,
but you should understand what you're signing.
For
right?
sure.
Don't ever just sign something because you're pressed for time or somebody tells you to sign it. You really know everything that you're putting your signature on.
Or you just go with Harris, someone you trust.
Go with Harris for your real estate transaction needs. I'm not.
You just got to trust the dude.
I deal with a lot of real estate people, mortgage brokers, loan officers, real estate agents, do a lot of their stuff locally. So I guess tangentially I touch the industry. I look at it like, man, if I was in the real estate industry, I'd be like, man, this is a golden opportunity, man. Like if like your P's and Q's like you were talking about, I think you can value add on the front side and probably actually make more money because now you can get compensated for like each hour that you're in it, as opposed to maybe you get paid, maybe you don't get paid because someone gets cold feet. I think on average, people are selling like one house a month, right? Is what it is, like 12 transactions a month. And I'm like, I break that down hourly, right? I'm an hourly guy. Like, what does it cost for me to do something? What does it cost for somebody else to do something? Like I was telling Weezy to have some cats come out and wash my cars.
That was a great moment right there, actually. That's a big moment. At that point, you should play Big Time.
With a Z.
Big Time by Rick Ross featuring Swiss Beats. It needs to drop right when he says.
I was thinking Big Time like Peter Gabriel, but whatever.
You need that one. You need that one.
Okay,
Trust me.
There you go. I ain't heard that.
You
I'm going
need
to play that.
Yeah, that's the one.
But no, I was calculating my time, and I'm like, all right, 2 cars, 115, 135 after tip, right? 2 hours for them to wash my cars, as opposed to me taking 2-3 hours to wash my cars. My hourly rate, depending on what I'm doing, could be $200, $400, $500 an hour.
Yes.
Right. So the arbitrage was, man, just outsource washing my cars, save myself some time, make some money in the process. Weezy came over, I was, crunching data, right, making money. But my point is, to get back to the real estate stuff, is I think because you're showing, you're explaining, like all the service that you're talking about, I think you can now charge for that up front, right? Because a sophisticated buyer is going to want that knowledge. They're going to want that information. They're going to want that value that you're providing to them, and they'll pay for it, right? If someone doesn't value that, they're not a great buyer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just a transaction at that stage of the game, right? And people have a hard time distinguishing the difference between cost, right? Investment, expense, value, all those variables to them are like kind of the same thing. Yeah. And they're not. They're really different. Yeah. So for a cat like yourself and myself, because that's how I operate my industry. Like I don't just charge for like a standard tax return. I bill for value. Mm-hmm. Here's my portfolio. Here's my menu. Here's my smorgasbord of services. Right. What works best for you? Customize something that works best for you.
That's exactly what I do.
And then it works best for me because I'm always getting paid.
That's exactly what I do.
Right? And so I feel like for you, that's a golden opportunity for you to make more money now than you were making before.
Same play. I mean, it's all about value proposition at the end of the day.
God damn.
Yeah, that's it.
Church.
There it is. That's big
is
time.
that the jam?
Yeah. Whoa. I just spoke to Meech.
It probably help if I put my headphones on.
Ooh.
Yeah, we needed that.
That's the joint.
Mix that
when he
shit
says
up
that,
real
you gotta drop that right there.
But I mean, next time, man, I'm gonna show these people how you buy cars.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't buy cars because that's just my thing. Like I'm not a big accumulator of material things. I'm a pretty simple dude. But if it comes down to paying Uncle Sam X,
yes.
And
Preach.
I know the game.
Preach.
Then I'm gonna take those dollars that I was gonna give to Uncle Sam and invest in something else.
Preach.
So maybe I'll give me a Range Rover, right? But I'll save $50K on it because of the write-off. So I'm not paying market value for the Range Rover. Or I could take that $50K and roll that into that Tesla that I got, right? Because that's how much the Tesla was. So basically, whatever math you want to use, the Tesla was free. Or the Range Rover is $50K off. I haven't even started to write the Tesla off yet.
That's beautiful. I think we need to have a segment for that, from time to time.
Yeah, just break it down for the people.
Just help the lay people understand how to go ahead and save money.
Man, let me tell you about just money in general, right? Because interest rates suck right now.
Big time.
You're in the industry, right?
Yeah, man.
So like that 8% is like crippling people. I was talking to my girl yesterday, and she was talking about, hey, let's get this house. I'm looking at this $900,000 house, and I'm like, do you even know what the monthly nut on that is? Like after you put 20% down? Like I'm not trying to scratch out $7,000-8,000 a month. Not because we can't, because I won't. Right? Yeah. There's a difference because right now the market is, I think, overvalued, inflated because of interest rates. Right? We got interest rates going up. Generally, like historically, when interest rates go up, maybe the price of homes came down a little bit, right? Or vice versa.
Yeah.
They're both kind of skyrocketing right now.
Yeah.
But my point was like just a regular average Joe consumer in this interest rate environment. Look, man, stop watching these credit card commercials with Michael B. Jordan. Stop watching these credit card commercials with fucking Kevin Hart. And stop running up your credit cards, man, because like what is credit card interest rates now? Like 20% on the low side?
Yeah.
30% on the high side?
Yeah.
But they're mad at crypto.
Yeah.
Crypto's taking your money. No,
Right.
Michael B. Jordan is taking your money because he's getting paid to sponsor some credit card shit for 30%. So every time you go fill up your tank, go buy some food at the store,
Yeah,
or go
man.
to Toys R Us to buy your kids some shit,
Yeah.
or pay some chick off, you're paying an extra 30% because we know people do not pay their credit card debt back
Yeah.
on a monthly basis.
Yeah, you
That's
got-
not me talking. That's
Yeah.
the statistics talking.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, you don't get debt and then say, I'm going to pay my debt off with more debt. You just
Yeah.
have more debt.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that concept, man, where it's like, I got debt. I'm going to go get a loan and pay it off with more debt because I'm a hyper consumer and I cannot control myself.
Yeah.
So that's the game, is pay your debt down, pay your most expensive debt down first with your cheaper debt if you can, and stop watching these commercials, man, and doing what these celebrity cats are doing. They're getting paid to do that. They're not even using credit cards, man. Like, hey, Michael B. Jordan's not doing like Capital One or Visa. That motherfucker got a black card, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not even using the card that he's promoting.
Yeah, man.
But you are.
Got to go Dave Ramsey with the approach and cash out. Cash everything.
So, like,
you know?
depending on who you are, like, if you're a business owner, you hate Dave Ramsey because
Yeah.
you want to use leverage.
Yep.
If you're a personal, like, just regular, average, individual consumer, like what Dave Ramsey says is
Makes
on
sense.
point.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have debt because most individuals are hyper consumers and you don't get to write your interest expense off, right? In a business, I can go get a loan and it's cheaper for me to get a loan to fund the capital and the operating expenses in my business because I can write the interest expense off, right? And then hopefully with the arbitrage, whatever I invest that in, whether it's like, you know, some type of physical asset, whether it's a human asset, or whether it's just an investment in more inventory, typically the ROI on that is going to be greater than the service of debt, right, that I'm paying out. When you're a consumer, you get the only interest that you get to write off maybe is your mortgage interest. But that's only if you meet certain thresholds on your tax returns, which they changed back in 2018, which pretty much cut everybody off by, you know, at the ankles in terms of like being able to claim mortgage interest. They put everybody like on the standard deduction. Like 90% of people claim standard deduction now. You know why?
Right.
Because the government wanted to take in more tax revenue, which they take in more tax revenue. That's more money out of your pocket.
Yeah, man.
Then they give it back to you inflated. Right? So you're like, oh, I got money. No. You're buying less. Like
That's the
inflated
game,
dollars
man.
means you get your purchasing power like just dwindled, decreased.
That is the game.
That's the game. That's what happens, man. Right there is that cycle. Like if
Yeah.
you don't listen to anything else that we tell you, listen to that.
Vicious.
Yeah, you give them tax dollars. They run it through their cycle. They give it back to you.
So
By the time
what
you get
is
that
your
dollar back,
solution?
open your own business. Invest in assets. Stop spending so much money that's not getting you ROI. You know, people don't understand like the marginal utility return, right? It's one of the tenets of economics. We've all heard of like law of diminishing returns. That's
Right.
probably the more
Right.
well-known term. Well, that's true, right? Like I don't need to have 5 TVs in the house
Yeah.
because that 5th TV isn't providing the same value as that first TV is. You know, even me with 2 cars, right? I got the cars for the write-offs, but the second car isn't providing me as much utility as the first car is.
Especially when you have to go a block to go to where you need to go.
Especially when you don't drive more than 10 miles.
Right, exactly.
100%. Right. But I have a plan.
What do you think about that book, like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he
think-
talks about assets and stuff like that?
I think he's on point.
He's on point, right?
Yeah, he's telling
Yeah.
you to invest in like hard assets that retain their value over time that can't be inflated. You think about gold, right? We talked about gold
Right.
yesterday. It's like the gold, I was reading an article today. Gold has pretty much held its same value, like what you could buy, like since like the Roman times. Like they were like, you know, buying chickens or water or whatever they were spending money on back then, right? Like literally like gold is almost the same price as it was back then, which is crazy. Right, because if you think about the dollar 100 years ago,
adjusted for inflation, right?
Adjusting for inflation, the dollar's declined like almost 90-some%. I think I was listening to an interview with Michael Saylor because it's like it loses 2% a year. He's like, could you imagine a boat? You're in a boat and it's losing like 2% a year. You're fucking drowning now, right?
You got the lifesaver on right now.
Yeah.
50 years, you're drowned. That's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's hard, man, to like kind of keep your head afloat, right? Because your purchasing power is dwindled. Maybe you got a family. You're not getting your raises at work. The price of everything is going up.
Give yourself raises.
Give yourself raises. You know, do what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have. There's this thing called time preference. There's people who have a short time preference and a longer time. No, high and low. Higher time preference, lower time preference. And it generated out of that famous Stanford test, the marshmallow test.
Yeah.
Where they gave the kids the marshmallows and they're like, all right, if you can wait 15 minutes, we'll give you a second marshmallow.
Right.
If you don't eat it.
Yeah.
Right. So it had to do with low time preference, high time preference. So the kids that ate it didn't get the second marshmallow. The kids that waited got the second one, and then they followed them their whole lives. And then the kids that had the lower time preference, meaning they could wait, actually ended up doing better in life because they did investments and they studied and acquired skill sets for jobs that would provide greater return on their skill sets than taking like that quick job that just paid you a bunch of money now. And I look at myself of like, I take myself and like, I've had two lives. I have the low time preference mark, which is now, versus the high time preference mark. The high time preference mark was, man, I just need to get a job, make some money, pay some bills.
Right.
I just need to get some scattered ass because I need that immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Right. And what that got me was nothing. I was sitting on nothing.
Arguably, right? Because and the only reason I say that is because when you look at getting a job, my thought on that is like you should go to work somewhere that I look at working as a W-2 employee as like paid internship. I only want to work in the space that I could go ahead and emulate and do my own version of that, right? Because there's proof of concept in that, and I'm getting paid to learn
and you're acquiring
on the job
skills,
training, right?
Exactly.
So I said arguably because being in the space that we were in prior to becoming entrepreneurs allowed us to run our own businesses essentially.
Let me take a step back because I agree with what you're saying. You have to like develop the skill set. You have to see how operations are run, whether it's just something as simple as running a lemonade stand, to having your own CPA business, to being a real estate professional, to being a videographer like Weezy. What I'm saying is like just going to get a job because you want to acquire bills. Yeah. Yours is different where you're like, it's the Warren Buffett and Benjamin Graham thing where he went to go work for Benjamin Graham.
The intelligent investor.
And he said, you know, I want a paid internship. And Benjamin Graham said, you're too expensive. You should be paying me for the skills that you're acquiring because I'm going to give you knowledge, right, that's going to last you the rest of your life. And you're going to be able to convert that into money. Like the ROI is a lot greater in what I'm providing to you than what you can provide to me. So, you know, it goes back to pause. It goes back to the SPR, right? When you're confronted with two options, stop and think about it. Think about it, go get it before it gets
Before it gets got.
Because
it's always going to get got, man.
We're going to get got eventually. We're born to get got.
I mean, when you break it down, right?
Like a 3-piece chicken dinner.
Yeah, man. It's always the basic tenets of life are that, right? You gotta think about it and go get it before it gets got.
Yeah, man.
Super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, man. That was a great breakdown. I just sat back and I took notes.
Like a fine wine.
Yeah, man.
Just sifting it in. Like
take notes. Stay broke.
That's right.
Around.
That's right.
Drop
Shout
the
out to
top
Rev.
and let the sun shine in.
You got to do it from time to time,
grain,
man.
let the Twinkies spin.
That's it.
Get you a glass, mix the Coke in the hen.
Yes, sir. What song was that again?
Quite all right. Put the tro in the wind.
Oh, man. You love you some CeeLo Green right there, boy.
Trick Daddy?
Yes, sir. That's a hit.
Man, that was a jam.
It still bangs, too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a feel-good song right there.
Man, I love that song.
Me too. Yeah. What song you love, Weezy, that's just like your go-to power song?
Bob Marley.
Which Bob Marley song?
Buffalo Soldier.
That's a good one.
Buffalo
shit.
Soldier.
I sing that shit to my son all the time.
You gotta be like fucking Buck and like,
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I love that shit.
It's amazing, right? It's one of those feel-good songs that have
Mm.
just transcended generations and
races,
cultures
and
and
ethnicities, and
races.
cultures.
That's
Like you
why I
see
love
all
it.
kinds of people bumping some Bob.
And that's what it was all about, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't ever want the powers to be don't ever want somebody being that powerful.
No, you're right. That's why Malcolm.
I like
X,
that
That's why
interview.
Malcolm X got.
Tupac,
Yeah, Malcolm,
Bob,
Biggie.
Malcolm, like
all those cats, man.
Hey, do you remember that interview you had
MLK?
with that reporter? He was like,
the rich
does
one.
possessions make you rich? You know what I mean?
He's like-
that shit was like,
He's like, what do you
damn, that
mean
shit
rich?
hits. Yeah.
Like, what's your definition of it? Like, how do you
Right.
define it?
Yeah,
Right,
do you
right,
have
right.
a lot of possessions? He's like, does possession make you rich? No, I don't have any of those.
He hit him with
things.
that Bruce Lee philosophy
Damn.
type shit.
That was
I
great.
was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, that makes you want to think about things, you know, because what are we doing? We're just trying to acquire assets.
Think about on a
know
daily
what I'm saying?
basis.
Yeah.
Think about on a daily basis. Like, when are you at your most happiest?
When
Probably when you're working out or when you're playing with your kids.
yeah.
Ain't got nothing to do with assets. When are you at your happiest? When you're running.
When I'm running, yeah. When I'm outside, sun, blue
Fucking.
skies, running, you know, good
Tapping that
playlist
ass with
going.
that side
And
action.
you know, yeah, the side action. Can't forget the side action.
Come on, we're
Like
talking
we
about
said-
happiness. We're talking about happiness. Come on now.
Can we get a real
Can we get
genuine
that?
ordered side action and then
man.
running?
Yeah. Definitely.
You know.
I guess so.
When you
Yeah.
get-
But
We
here's the
that
thing.
nut drain.
Here's the thing for Harris.
Okay.
Whether it's side action or running, he's still bumping "Rub You the Right Way."
That's right. Pump up the bass. Oh man, that went viral.
Love that, man.
People love that.
Fucking Johnny Gill, dude. That dude be singing like an old Negro spiritual every song at the end too. He would always fucking ramp up. Motherfucker be like, yee.
He's a Negro spiritual. Oh man, my chest is hurting.
But that's when but you think about it, when you're at your happiest, it's almost like when you were a kid.
Yeah, play, man. I
Because
mean,
when you were a kid, you didn't think about bills. You didn't think about material things. You didn't think about all the things that you think about that
You were
stretch
living
you
in
out
the
of work.
present.
You were living.
I think social
perfect.
norms are, keep you chained up. A lot of people chained up. You know, you grow into this person you think you're supposed to be, and then you're playing on this new football field. So you're like, I guess I got to wear these cleats, right? And then you score a couple touchdowns. You're like, okay, I got this signing bonus, so I guess I got to dress like this. And then you start dressing like that, and that means you attract these types of people. And so I guess I got to be dating these types of girls, right? And then you get so far removed from the essence of who you are that you no longer realize why you're going about the day the way you're going about the day.
Right.
And I think it takes
So many influences, right?
I think it takes like a profound time out for yourself, a pregnant pause, if you will, to assess why you get up and do the things that you do. And once you've had that pregnant pause and you've thought about it, you'll realize that, stripping away to the bare essentials is really going to keep you the most joyous, right? And then I find personally that it just takes you out of that rat race. You're no longer in a space where you're competing or you feel like you have this comparative mindset. And I get some people are going to say, well, I don't compare myself to anybody. And I think that's great because I am the same way. But you would be lying if you didn't say, I've compared myself to where I think I should be. Or I'm comparing myself to where I used to be. Right. And I think that's just as cancerous. So the point is, live life, exude gratitude, have fun, think about it, and go get it before it gets got. You know what I mean? And everything is going to be all right. # Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah, but it goes back to when Weezy was talking about why do these dudes or people get these tattoos, right? And it goes back to what you're saying. It's these social norms, right?
Yeah.
They're not even doing it because they're conscientiously doing it. They're doing it because they feel like they have to do it for whatever reason. Like they're screaming for attention, but for all the wrong reasons. It's not them authentically being like themselves. Like we talk about like our strongest virtues as a trio or even as individuals, right?
Yeah.
Is the fact that we're all kind of like true to ourselves. We have our warts.
Yeah.
We have our pros and our cons, and we all accept each other for what they are. But at the same time, we never stop being like our authentic selves. And like, you're not going to do anything anybody's going to force you to do. You're going to be Mark Harris no matter what. Weezy's going to be Weezy no matter what. He's talking about, man, I'm wearing these little ass shorts to the gym because they can't hold these thighs down, right? He don't care what Mark Dupre thinks because Mark Dupre don't care if he don't like my midriff, right? I'm going in like Zeke, right? But that's us being our authentic selves, right? I'm super comfortable being that dude.
Yeah.
Even though the rest of the world fucking hates it, and even though the rest of some guys are trying to fight me over that shit because, like Dion said, what is it about my security that makes you insecure?
Look at me.
Look at me.
It's those cats, man. I mean, it's like that Charles Maurice quote. I'm afraid of an army of 100 sheep led by a lion than an army of 100 lions led by a sheep.
Yeah, man. I didn't know that was attributed to him, but I've heard that quote before.
And that's what it is, man. Like, it takes a lot of brass to be that lion, right? Authentically you. That's some scary shit.
Yeah.
To get out there and break the social norm and the status quo and to go left when everybody's going right.
Or just looking yourself in the mirror sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
what kind of man have you become?
But
Being accountable for all those kind
I
of
couldn't
things.
do it any other way.
Yeah.
So it's the only way I know how, man. If you went out today, if you died today, you at least want to know you went out living the life that you wanted to live, and you weren't like a marionette for somebody else. You know,
That's a good one.
Marionette.
I just wanted to get that in. I don't even know how to spell it. I remember it from a song back in the day. There's like this Megadeth, Eva
okay.
Destruction or some shit like that. It says something about marionettes, you know, like politicians playing people like marionettes. Like, I'm butchering the lyrics, but I know there's some
The
marionettes.
range of music is amazing to me, you know.
We went like
Johnny Gill, Rage Against Machine, Megadeth.
I just had on my running playlist, I was listening to the Presidents of the United States, Lump. You
Dang,
know,
I ain't heard that in forever.
that shit hits on the run, boy. Lump is in my head, right? We got range, man.
Yeah.
We got range. You know, we don't ascribe to the labels that we're supposed to represent based on where we're from or what we look like and who we've been around. You know, it just feels good to feel good.
We're not like a niche, like we are the niche.
I like that.
Well, like you said, like, you know, one of the things about this podcast that you didn't want to happen was for us to be pigeonholed, right?
Man, I don't want that.
And that's hard because we don't really pigeonhole ourselves because we've got a pretty diverse range, even if you just look at us musically, right?
Yeah.
I think if you look at like what we listen to musically, that kind of tells you what kind of like people that we are, you know, all embracing, all encompassing, kind of right down the middle, not right, not left. Don't listen to one particular genre. You know, as far as women are concerned, we like them all, white, black, red, dot, feather, like Jay-Z said. So,
Yeah.
you know, we kind of like have a deeper appreciation for the whole shebang, right? Where somebody else might like decide to limit themselves based on whatever paranoia, superstitious beliefs that they have.
Yeah,
that
because who
they're
wants to
raised
eat
by.
chicken breast every night, bro? Nobody.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody does, but not us.
Who wants to eat green beans every night? Nah.
Yeah.
It's important to be like,
no.
you know, if you're in concert with, you know, people from all walks of life,
Harmony.
you gotta be able to, you know, appreciate all different flavors, you know, all different mixes, all different.
I see you reminiscing about all the little countries you've been at, little tiny beaches you've been at. Just I could just see it in his eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like Dubrovnik or some shit.
Traveling is
Montenegro or
I
some
think
shit.
that's like the best education you can have, man. You know,
Well, I mean, you think about as much as you've traveled more than like 95% of people will ever travel in their life.
yeah, that's
And
crazy.
if you ask people, you know, what do you want to do like when you get a lot of money, or what do you want to do when you retire? Everybody, even me.
Yeah.
I want to travel.
Right,
I want to see
right.
stuff. I ain't been nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah.
You know. So
It's funny. It's like it's weird to me. Like I see you and I see Dupre. Like you guys have like led like different lives. You know, you guys invested in different things. You know what I mean? But you're both successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you got to define that early on for yourself. I knew that I wanted to be a person that broke the stereotype of what it meant to grow up in a single parent home.
yeah, that's two of us, right?
You know, and that
Three of us.
and that
Three of
actually
us.
and that actually it was the raison d'etre for me. That was the reason for
Love
being
that.
was to get out and say, okay.
That's French for reason of being.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Wheezy will make sure that he puts that in blazon, pauses it, and then we'll say this means in French, reason for being.
Raison d'etre. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought to myself, like, you know, I'm playing with house money at this point, right? I didn't succumb to the pressures of the jungles. I didn't join a gang.
Welcome to the jungle.
Right. We got fun and games. We got everything you know. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah.
Range is crazy, bro. Their range is insane.
You know what that reminds me of?
Shout out to Axl Rose.
It's Lean On Me. You ever seen Lean On Me? With
a long time.
With Morgan Freeman, where he's the principal.
Yes.
Oh man, that's the title song to the beginning of that
movie.
Is it? Yeah, it's great. I love that. It just took me right back.
I gotta watch that again.
Lean On Me is cold. That's a classic.
It's 30 years at least.
More than that, man.
It's like late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's Welcome to the Jungle came out like in 87.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just figured, you know, you're playing with house money, man. You know, you go out and get after it. You know, and see what you can do, man. And it's been astonishing. You know, if I'm being honest, if I look back at some of the accomplishments and the things that I've been privy to, it's, you know, I sometimes gotta take a deep breath. Like, I've forgotten more things than most people will ever probably do, and that's not a flex at all. It's just to say,
Those are facts.
yeah, I'm just reporting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like someone saying like you're showing off. It's not showing off if you can do it,
Right.
or if you've done it.
Right.
Like, we all have that decision whether you want to travel or not. You know what I mean?
You wanted a family.
Right.
You got a family.
Exactly.
You know, I wanted to start my own business. I wanted economic freedom. I pumped my time into that.
Yep.
You know, you wanted to travel. And
Experiences,
right? Which are what most people want.
international scattered ass.
You know, because like if Harry, yeah, for sure, right?
A lot.
Damn.
A lot
Eastern
of
European type shit. God damn, bro.
Passports tattooed on their ass.
I just got a new passport.
Your wiener got passports on it from all that
God
international tang.
I got a new passport.
You got that global entry. I see that.
Yeah, man. I got to.
Ooh, you gotta have that.
The global entry.
Yeah.
Being
around the
global
world.
entry, huh? You got that global entry.
Got that double entendre, triple entendre right there, maybe. If you really think about it.
Shit, menage a trois.
But it's important to get out and see things because it just lifts up your perspective. I mean, we have like American propaganda as a real thing, you know. And if you're force fed your review journals, your news weeks, your LA Times,
You're never gonna go anywhere.
You know, you're looking at what you look at. These algorithms have figured us out, right? So they'll pump you any news that they think that you should know, and you get enough of that, and you start believing the world is one way, right? And then you get out, and it's almost like breaking through the matrix, right? And you say, wow, this is actually nothing like I expected. These people are way more kind than I've been led to believe, right? They have awesome technology. They're very inviting, right? They have a culture that is reminiscent of my own. You know, they are just better than what I've been led to believe. So I would encourage everybody to get out and travel. But travel doesn't necessarily got to be on some big baller shit either, right? It didn't start that way for me, you know, at all. You know, I wasn't opposed to going up to Seattle to watch a Hawks game and then looking on the Amtrak and saying, wow, this could be romantic, right? We can go up the coast and then we can be in Vancouver, right? That doesn't cost you really much of anything. But now I'm in as far North America as I've been. Yeah. Right? Or, you know, you might be in London.
Motherfuckers up in the 48th parallel and went to war with Britain in 1812 over some shit like that. Harris up there stoking the flames, and
got to do it sometimes.
We're just Vancouver area.
Got to do it, man. Vancouver. Shout to Vancouver. I love Vancouver.
I heard it's a beautiful city. I ain't been.
They got the highest populace of Chinese people outside of China.
That's good. Wow.
Which I thought was a pretty interesting fact. But then they have hybrids, though. Man.
Hybrids what?
Chinese and black, Chinese and white, Chinese and Latin.
Getting down.
Man, it's
they got out of China and just went down, right?
Buck.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing to see, man. So traveling, and definitely everybody's got to get out and see the world.
You know, that contributes to your skill stack.
You think so?
100%. Because people who are only good at one thing and specialize in one thing are limited, right? Like you're a multifaceted.
I love that word.
Individual, right? And your experiences open a lot of doors for you.
Facts.
Because people are going to be interested in where you've been, what you've seen.
Yeah.
Also, in those experiences, you've met a diversity of people, which, makes you better. Now you got, like you said, a more rounded, well-rounded view of how the world works, and not just what the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, kind of like you said, want you to believe.
Yeah.
And so you can have like these really nuanced conversations with people, and they're going to want to ask more questions and find you more intriguing and more appealing. And you remind me of this dude I read in this book called The 48 Power Laws.
Oh, yeah. Robert Greene. Shout out to Robert Greene.
Now, you're not a con man, but Victor Ludwig.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like he was very well read, very well spoken. He was an international man, and being an international man allowed him to kind of like read the room, know the temperature, what to say, what not to say, who to identify as the movers and shakers in the room. That your experience that you've gotten from globetrotting has heightened your sense of being able to do that, where the other person will say, like 95% of the people we said do not travel globally. You have that advantage over people on top of your other skills that you have acquired. So that combinatorial effect puts you like in a higher quadrant, say, versus another real estate professional or whatever profession that you would want to be in. Say if you wanted to be an accountant, you would have an advantage, right? Because you would stack your sales with your accounting, with your travels. You're immediately more appealing and provide more value than, say, just like some regular accountant who couldn't sell and hadn't had the experience that you had. So when you combine all those things together, right, you're able to sell a better package to somebody, provide better value to somebody, which in turn, you get enriched better.
Yeah. That reminds me of a verse I wrote way back in the day. It was like, my cuz was like, "Cuz, what you spending?" I said, "Cash, rand, pesos, dollar, Canadian, Bahamian. I be spending lira, Balboa, euros, buy francs. You know that big bank take a little bank. Stripes on Adidas. We all about that green and gold, Mardi Gras. Puffing on that la-di-da. Never had to, but I break it down like karate chops." Nice. What I said, make a meal, get a Richard meal. Yeah, that's how I feel when I'm in the Mandarin, speaking Mandarin. Ni hao, they on a mannequin challenge, because they ain't never seen a man as him. Well-traveled, well-read, well-dressed, well-spoken, well-balanced, well-educated. But that's South Central in me. So should I get rich or live richly? Like it was just like some thoughts based on that though. Yeah. And that was that was what I felt after my first couple of countries that really lit a fire as I decided to go on and travel more. It is that point. It's adding value to you in a different way. It's positioning you. And that's what I'm all about, is positioning, right? I'm realizing you don't got to be the most talented. You don't have to have the most skill sets. You don't have to have the greatest black book, right? But positioning, you can achieve it in a lot of different ways. And what I found is enjoying great wine has kept me in concert with wonderful people. Mm-hmm. Traveling has kept me in concert with wonderful people. Working out has kept me in concert with wonderful people. Reading books has kept me in concert with wonderful people, right? All of these things don't cost much of anything, right?
Next to nothing.
Other than your time.
Which is your most valuable
commodity. But that's a really, really good way to invest it.
I agree. I mean, we talked a couple of weeks ago, Charlie Munger, 99, still reading. Yeah, man. He said, "What's the keys to your success? I've been reading since I was 6 years old. What do you read? Whatever I can." Yep. And so you take that, you make those investments in yourself. And it's like you said, especially in Vegas, it's not what you know, like it's who you know in the show. It's just who you know in the show. Like you provide the show, right? To who you know. I mean, obviously you got to know a little something. Like for me, I have to be an accountant to know what I'm talking about because that's the profession I'm in. But I provide the show. I give them the suits. Yeah, right? I give them the talk. I give them the swagger. I drive
And
the
I love
cars,
that
I
so
date
much.
the hot chicks, you know?
I love that so much because it's right on par with your original design for it. And the thing I got to give you big ups on is that I think the distinguishing quality from you versus the other guys is that you didn't quit.
That's it, man.
you didn't quit. Booty shaking until something happened.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But didn't quit.
Yeah.
And I love that. And now you get to rewrite the rules of what it means to be CPA.
Well, you
right?
want, like, with CPA, what's that, Philly?
Yeah, man. Straight up.
Yeah, man.
Right? That was a good one. That flew over their heads back in the day.
didn't. No
when
one
we
knew what
dropped
it
that.
was.
They
It was
didn't even
CPA.
know. Yeah, a new way to CPA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
New way to see it.
Yeah, like the Eagles, baby.
Yeah.
No, I'm so proud of us, man. Like, you know, these are the things that, you know, I used to pray about and think about. And
Go get it.
yeah, man. And just, you know, rubbing two sticks together, wondering like if it could happen, when it would happen. Now it's not anything that I chart after at this point. It's not a matter of if, it's when, because, you know, I've been able to deconstruct the formula. Now I got the formula to get any kind of win that I want, right? Because now I've taken his success and I've deconstructed it. I've taken your success, I've deconstructed it, and I say, okay, what are the things that are
Formula.
Yeah.
The
That is
DLC,
right.
that's the
Hell
formula.
yeah, man. That's a good one. Dr. Dre was in his bag on that one.
Yeah, man.
You know what the DLC is? You know what he's doing right now?
I don't.
He sold his voice to AI.
Wow.
So he's recording a new album because you know he had the car accident
Yeah.
and his vocal cords were ripped. And he was one of the illest, arguably, probably gearing himself up to be one of the best rappers of all time.
Yeah.
And he had that in that accident. So the AI is going to allow him to sound like he did on that album.
Wow.
And he's going to record new music with Dr. Dre, and we'll see how it sounds.
Yeah, I mean,
Be interesting.
what you can do nowadays and how you can make money and how you can like do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Editing
like,
all of our shit is on
Yeah.
AI.
Oh, well, I was talking to him. I
Yeah.
was like, man, do you just set the parameters to like, you
All
know,
that.
take out all the pauses or the delays? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's just like, just blows me away the fact that he can do it. Because I was watching and you can see like just it skip really quick, right? And kill all that dead space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even our logo that we're still developing was all AI.
And that logo's fire.
Yeah.
I think we should just run with it for the time being.
I was just saying that.
Yeah, no,
And just
for sure.
and just start to build social profiles with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like as we start to grow and iterate more, we can go ahead and have
need
other
to.
versions if we need to.
If we need to. I mean, if you look at a lot of podcasts like logos, none of them are like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
are
yeah.
like just like Dan Patrick.
And it's a
Dan
thumbnail.
Patrick, right?
It's like so small.
Right,
like
right.
I was just thinking, like, man, we're putting our face in it. We're gonna be at like a little speck in there.
Yeah, I think that's a good vote. You got my eye on that.
I'm good with that. I mean,
Second motion right
We'll
here.
have it plastered on this wall right here, so it'll be as big as we need it to be.
Yeah,
Like
the
in
big ones,
background,
you know,
like,
we
boom.
could possibly put like the target in our faces on there, but like for like the social media ones, just like it's so small.
Yep.
You can't
And
even
the cool
see
thing about that editing process is outside of the video. I mean, even with the video, with the cut, it's not choppy at all. But if you're just listening to the podcast, it flows seamlessly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
But
don't
like I was telling Dupre earlier, there's just like a cutoff point, like 50 decibels. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So if it goes higher than that, then it's or lower than that, then it's like, you know, it's not even gonna pick it up. It's just gonna cut it automatically.
This is already such a better episode.
Yeah, just flowing with
No,
it.
it's good that we did. So this is why we're gonna be successful. Is so you know we did an episode the day before when we were supposed to be doing an episode every 2 weeks.
Yep.
And we didn't feel like we did a good performance yesterday, and so we all
Tossing and turning.
right. Yeah,
Couldn't even sleep,
Yeah,
man.
no, it was.
Yeah.
Nobody felt good about it.
Couldn't
It's like
even
nothing
sleep.
early. It's like,
And-
nah, I gotta do that shit again. Run it back.
Yeah, and we're not, we're not getting paid for this right now. This is
Right.
we're all volunteering our time to be here because we
Right.
want to be here because we're enjoying it. Because if
'Cause
you're
we
going
know
to do
what it could
something,
be.
we know what it could be.
Right.
But if you want to do something, you do it because you love it first.
Exactly.
This goes back to what we were talking about. What are the things that bring you the greatest joy, right? I'm running, I'm playing with the kids, I'm working out, I'm reading books, I'm coffee, whatever, right?
This,
yeah.
this.
And this is
This.
it too, right?
Yeah.
So we all decided to shift our schedules around,
Yeah.
come back today to put out a better version from what we did yesterday because it was that important for us to do. Not everybody would do that.
That's true.
So most people just be like, it's all right.
I've been meaning to squeeze this in because I've been talking about like my boy Rafi in his yoga class on like Fridays at 6.
Okay.
And like there's like a segment in there where he just talks about like being grateful. Like, what are you grateful for? Like the first thing I thought about was like us. Like, man, I'm grateful for my boys.
Yeah, man.
I'm so lucky that I have these boys that are like lifelong family. You know what I mean? Like before we were successful, you know what I mean? We fucked with each other. You know what I mean? And then now that we got, you know, a little bit more game, we still fuck with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm so like happy for us. You know
what? It's not hard for us to do stuff. Like, I got boys that I grew up with. I mean, it's the hardest damn thing for us just even to do dinner, just for people to respond. Like, and they'll come back with you and say, "I don't have the time." Or everybody's busy, man.
Yep.
Like your time ain't more important than my time.
Yeah.
But we can make time. Like responding is a big thing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what I love, like what Weezy's saying is like, you know, we always make time. You know,
100%.
We've always made time for each other.
Yeah, it's important.
So,
and I would say to dovetail off of that, Kiko, and this is a life hack that I've shared with a lot of people. At 2:22 every day, there's a meaning behind that for me. It's my gratitude moment of the day.
It's not Leviticus?
Nope. It actually is an ode to my Leadership Las Vegas crew. We were the class of 2022. So
Gotcha.
Double deuces. So that's why I do mine at 2:22. But that is the gratitude moment. You know, I'm more than I appear to be. All the world's strength and power rests inside of me. Yada yada yada. But in that period, like it's just a conscious moment to say thank you for whatever you want, right? So I would encourage all of you guys to set a time on your Apple Watches or your Android phones every day and just own that. You know, it'll go off and it can be your little silent memento to yourself to remind yourself to stay present and to continue to exude gratitude, because a lot of times, you know, we can go through life and forget that all of this is a blessing. You know, I think you made a point yesterday where we were talking about how we are just, if you look at the world as a whole and you think about Americans, right? I'm not talking about people that are rolling in the riches. I'm talking about your average day-to-day American, all of the things that they have: running water, a roof over their head, clean food, right? Like multiple pairs of shoes to wear. I mean, like little things that don't even seem like much to the average American would be like the spoils and riches to somebody in a different country.
They said, like, I would rather be a poor man in America today than a rich man in Louis XIV France, which is like the most opulent country in the world at the time, because they didn't have good health care. Imagine if you got a toothache back then.
Damn.
That's all you need to know. There was nothing you could do about it. They would just pull it out. There was no Novocaine.
They would think it's a devil and they just pull all your teeth out.
Yeah, or just exactly.
That reminds me of Chris Rock. He was like, when he was talking about what he had to do to get his house. Yeah. You know, he's like, I had to host the Oscars to get this house. He's like, he's like, and you know what my neighbor does next door? He's like, he's a regular yank your tooth out dentist.
I remember that.
It's like, you got no motherfucking awards for the best porcelain fillings. Regular yank your tooth out dentist. Man, yeah, but you're right about that. I mean, I'd rather be a poor man in America today than a rich person in the 14th, 15th century.
Healthcare, running water, just the medicine.
I mean, that is some good game for you if you actually sit and digest that, like the pharaohs of the world, right?
They didn't live how we live.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't have toilet paper.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we just take it for granted, man. Like, imagine if you was taking a dump 5,000 years ago.
I look at my kids sometimes and they're so picky with their eating, bro. And I'm just like, oh my God. I don't even remember not finishing my food.
Right? Because you have so many options.
And now my kids are just like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm like, oh my God, these kids,
Did you ever have a parent or like uncle or aunt tell you, do you know how many kids in Africa would kill for that?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that growing up?
We used
all
to see
the time.
that
Did you hear that?
We used to see that Sally Struthers commercial.
You know what?
The kids with the distended stomachs.
I went to Africa, and that shit ain't true. I got back. I said, Grandma, you lied to me.
There were no kids with stomachs.
Ain't no
distended stomachs or sorghum. All they eat is sorghum.
Yeah, they got those fitness influencers, right? Have you seen them? They're like yacked Africans, right?
Oh, man.
And bro, like they act like, they just eat off like, fruit from the ground or some shit. They don't have
Right,
any,
I know.
but they're like roided out. It's crazy. Like if you
haven't
look
seen
it up, yeah. But they're
thing-
actually going to like gyms and shit like that.
The thing is, there is a place and space for anything and everyone right now today. Like, and I think that is partly what's going to make us outliers, right? Is that we're just born into the right time.
Well, we're flexible in mind though too.
Yeah.
We're kind of that tween. Because we could be old and stale.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But we've made conscientious decisions, right, to kind of like combine the old school with the new school, fuse the two together, right, and kind of forge ahead with that, where we're not like these Luddites that are kind of fearful of.
I love that word.
Technology.
Luddites, right?
Yeah,
Is that?
Damn.
yeah. Like we embrace
Benny.
the change, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is for me. Is it's just embracing the change, right? Because
Absolutely.
there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Like we were talking about with the the real estate law that passed, right?
Yep.
And you just embraced it. You weren't like, man, that sucks. You didn't take the victim mentality. You're like,
No, never.
Here's the things that I have to do to be better as a professional, to provide better services. You went
right.
right back to that customer service standpoint.
That's what it is.
And
Value
that's
proposition.
kind of like that's how we.
Value proposition, man.
I look at me and my partner. My partner still runs her tax firm like it's 30 years ago, and she's great at what she does. But she doesn't maximize her time, and she doesn't maximize her money. Her client list is half of hers, but I make 2 times as much as she does.
Yeah, man. That's that old lifetime philosophy right there.
Yeah,
baby.
man. You put them on auto pay.
You know what I mean? That's what that is, man. You know what I mean? I wasn't tripping when we jumped from $89 an hour to $129. I'm just like, hey, man.
When I went to Lagoon, I was like charging $199.
You know?
Yeah.
Value proposition,
Yeah,
baby.
man.
You know what I mean?
Supply and demand.
That's it.
There's one of me.
Scarce
There's
resource.
a gang of you.
Scarce resource.
Yeah, man.
What do you guys want to talk about in closing before we get out of here? I think we covered a lot today.
I think we did cover a lot.
This was a good re-up.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to do the part duh.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
So
That
you usually have the closing words, man, because you're the eloquent cat. You always have some missing that you have to offer.
Maybe I can-
missive that you have to offer
Maybe I
at the
can
end.
find a good quote that I've been kind of ruminating on in my contemplations. I don't know. Let's pick something.
Like, hopefully we're saying something, man, that resonates with somebody out there that like Bruce Lee, right? Bruce Lee's big thing was, don't be like me. If you're being like me, then you're not me. Like, you have to authentically be yourself. Because Bruce Lee's big thing was, he was the master of himself. Like, Wheezy is the master of Wheezy. You and I don't do a lot of the same things, have a lot of the same likes. But the one thing that we have in common is we are authentically ourselves.
Yeah, and that's important.
We are original, right?
Right.
Get off the dick, you motherfucking carbon copy. Remember that?
So I'll say this. Remember, too, that your time is your one finite resource. And when you say yes to one thing, you're inevitably saying no to the other. That's my man Andrew Grove. Rest in peace.
So what you just said kind of encompassed a couple things we always talk about.
Yeah.
One we talked about earlier was the low time preference versus the high time preference. Are you about the immediate gratification or are you about the investment? And the other one is just, you hear it all the time and it's kind of trite, but it's true. You can always make more money, but you cannot make more time.
Think about that.
Think about it. Go get it before
Or it gets
got.
got. Peace.
That was a good rap.
That's what I'm saying, man. I just pulled that quote out of my ass, and it went right with what we're doing.
But the good thing about having video is we can get to that.
Yeah.
Because we had a pause there when you asked us a question, we all
Yeah.
froze up, which is what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, we were
Man,
talking
I
about
like
this,
that.
we're all got stiff like dicks and
man,
shit.
I like
And it's
that.
fucking.
That ain't gonna work, man. That's not. I think it.